Today, I want to talk about my first ever overseas hike. I was looking for a hiking group because I cannot find anybody to hike with me. This ad found me on social media. I responded to it, and almost immediately, the founder replied when I made an inquiry. And next thing you know, he invited me to Annapurna Basecamp hike. And I couldn't say no because just the day before, I told myself that I need to stop being afraid and just take any opportunity to do something interesting. And this presented itself as something very interesting. So I told him I'll get back to him the next day. So I went to my children and asked them what they think about the idea. Of course, I shared with them what I told myself the day before. Boys being boys, they were very brave and they said, "Go, Mom, this is going to be really exciting for you." And so I had no excuse because my boys were rallying for me to go. So I think what I really wanted to share was not how I got into this hike, but more of I made a promise to myself that I'm going to do something exciting. I think that was the first step of me getting out of my comfort zone and doing something that I never thought I would do. And that led to a slow change of mindset and, of course, a lot of challenges that came along with hiking at this age, 52 back then. Annapurna Basecamp is definitely a very beautiful hike. We went there in spring of 2023. We were still graced with snow-capped mountains along the way. It was a 6 days on-trail hike, and we stayed in tea houses along the way. To be honest, it was a pretty wet hike for us, but there were good days like this when the sun is out. There were interesting days where we see donkeys and yaks bringing stuff up to the mountain, and there were days when the staircase just won't end. The day to Annapurna Basecamp was the toughest for me because of the high altitude and snow, but I made it. I hope you enjoyed that short snippet of my trip in ABC. I have to admit, the day heading to the base camp was really life-threatening for me because the air was so thin. It was very difficult for me to breathe, and it was so cold because it was snowing the whole time when we were walking. My son was there with me actually. When I reached the tea house at the base camp, he told me that he was so afraid that I would have died outside. But I didn't die. But reaching the base camp wasn't the highlight. The highlight was actually getting out of the trail. Not because I was desperate to get out. I was tired. I was tired. Of course, all of us were tired. But it was a sign of completing something very difficult for me. And that adds on another layer of foundation to my life, being able to do this. And it does change me a little bit after that. The feeling of completing something difficult became something that I'm not afraid of anymore. In fact, it's something that I look forward to because I want to know if I can complete it. So that's my story for Annapurna Basecamp. The hiking adventures didn't stop there. I continue on to hike 2 more mountains in the same year. Not a very good idea for someone my age, but I did it. And I will share more in my coming videos. Thank you for watching.